Coach May, obviously pretty happy with that sort of win from being 17 points down in the first quarter to pull back the way you have.
Yeah, look, they come out and played very well in that early stages. It was about us just sticking with it and persevering, and then we seized the momentum of the game. And after that first quarter, really happy with how we played and attacked the game.
You've got to have plenty of confidence in the next 3 games. You've now won 4 on the road. Only game you've lost on the road against Sydney, so you're pretty confident you can take on Melbourne, Southeast Melbourne and Adelaide?
We are, but like the minute you start to get ahead of yourself, that's when you get smacked in the face. So my job over the next couple of days is to make sure we can repeat this. Now we've shown that we can do this on the road, but like Southeast is playing very well at the moment, so we better be dialed into what we're doing.
What are you going to take out of this? Obviously, it was quite close to those first 2, but you broke out. Is there any lessons you'll use for the next few games?
Like with the roster we have right now, with guys being out and guys joining the team, it gives a lot of opportunity to our young guys and talk about going on the road. They get to see some different environments in the league, and it really shows the type of resilience. Like Dave, I don't know about tonight, maybe your best NBL game. Yep. So to see his growth and his willingness to stay with us for 3 years, and then to do that, and then Henschel's composure tonight, probably the best in his NBL career. So, and then Pepper had a nice little patch there in the third quarter that kind of opened up the game or gave us good momentum there. So, when you have a youthful roster, you have to ride the waves. So, like at the back end of the season, there's great dividends for you.
You are doing quite well for where we are at this point of the season. You must be pretty happy, especially with that younger roster.
No, we've had 4 losses.
After this one, though, that's
yeah, but like if you probably look at the trend, we've played well, and then we've had a hiccup. We've reconvened, play well. So we need to break that cycle. That's what I'm looking to try and do as we move forward.
So how do you stop that happening from here?
That's the $1 million question. I think like a game like tonight gives our young guys great confidence, but I also have to keep that confidence in check so we don't get ahead of ourselves. And then with the way Doolittle, Joe, Wagstaff, Sunday contribute as veterans in those moments, and like it's the game, but then it's also tomorrow morning, what are we doing as a group? And those guys are vital to that, and they're truly really good professionals and leaders to help this young group along.
Josh, you guys go ahead.
Yeah, John, to start the season, the team is currently 4-1 on the road. What's the road trip sort of looking like that's made you guys have such a successful start to the season on the road?
We just always attack it the same way. I know people make a big deal about like the travel, but for us we just rock up, play, make sure they get sleep, food, and then have a good crisp shoot around, and we go from there. So. It's worked so far, but like you guys are trying to pump us up now with a great win down in Tasmania, and we got a really good Southeast Melbourne team just licking their lips, ready to take their frustrations out on us.
I know you don't like and like you mentioned earlier in the press conference as well, sort of talking too much about complete wins and complete games and all that sort of stuff as well. But early in the season, is this a pretty big statement win for the club?
No, we were down 17 in the first, so to say that it was a complete game or we're close to what we can be, I don't think getting down 17 and digging yourself out of that hole is a recipe for success.
Dave in the third quarter was absolutely incredible, and it seemed like you guys turned that defensive switch very quickly, and sort of the double teams were great, which obviously Dave was a massive part of as well. You quickened up Tasmania, forced some turnovers, and were able to get in transition and score some easy buckets. This team can turn it on defensively very quickly. How do you sort of get I know it's the $1 million question as well, but how do you get the buy-in for a full 4-quarter effort?
That's actually the thing I've probably been most happy about with our consistency throughout the season is our intent and our purpose at the defensive end. Now we got to address and keep working on our rebounding, but we have guys and enjoy it. and we got two pretty good guys sitting out at that end of it as well. So we should be one of the better defensive teams in the competition just with our roster build. But like you talk about Dave's impact in the third quarter, I thought he did a nice job in the second quarter to just kind of get himself in the game, an offensive rebound, put back. He got some deflections and stuff like that. And like that's how you build confidence and momentum. It's not hitting home runs. It's like just stacking, and then it's amazing how then the game falls into your favor, and then you find yourself like some post-up fadeaways.
Last one from me here. Dave, incredible game tonight, mate. You found your touch, and you've been really building on this over the last couple of weeks as well, with the opportunity, with Windler being out of the team as well. How are you starting to see yourself falling into this rotation, and obviously the start of the season as well, mate?
Yeah, like Coach said, there's a couple guys out right now, so just, taking that opportunity in the starting role and just, taking it and just going with it, really. Just trying to do what I do best, and, that's rebounding. You guys saw that tonight. So, just trying to continue that into Sydney's game.
Good luck on Saturday night, guys.
Thanks.
Craig.
Yeah, Dave, I'm not sure if you've heard John's press conferences all year, but when you weren't playing many minutes, he kept naming you and talking about all the things that you were doing well, and then you come into the starting lineup. Have you felt the backing from him all year, which has led to how you played tonight?
I mean, yeah. Coach has been backing me ever since I got here in Perth, so, it's no surprise to me.
So, your confidence and the ability to do what you did tonight after being trained in that starting lineup recently, what have you done to build yourself up and believe that you can be this type of player?
I've always believed I can be this type of player. You guys are just seeing it now.
And what about you, John, from the way, as you've been talking him up all year? You've obviously seen him building towards this.
Look, it's a combination. The one thing I would like to highlight in all of this is it's easy for coaches to get credit and the player that has the success, but we have a group of guys that want to see their teammates be successful. So he has several teammates that drive Dave to be better. So it's just not always a coach in that ear. So the group and their responsibility to try and help each other reach their ceiling is very impressive to date.
And you wanted your superstar to be allowed to stay on the court and avoid foul trouble, and he most certainly did, and changed the game in the second half. Can you talk about Joe Longshaw's game and the significance of being able to play with the freedom in that second half defensively without fouls hanging over his head?
It's a combination of things, like when you have Henschel and Pepper shooting the ball like they were, Doolittle playing like the role tonight that he was. Joe found himself in a lot of space. So it's a combination, like you've seen Joe, he's got an elite daily work ethic. So when he makes all of those shots, that part's not surprising. But then when other guys are doing their role and making shots, then he has a lot more space. And one-on-one in this league, he's a tough cover.
And he had that block in the last quarter. He had another massive defensive play in the last quarter. Once he, without fouls hanging over his head, he was able to play like that. How significant is that for you to know?
Yeah, look, he also has to take responsibility of that himself. We watch film with him and point out, when you foul out, quite often it's not the fifth foul. It's the second or third one that you probably could have avoided, but for whatever reason in the flow of the game, you thought it was a good idea to foul. So, it's being responsible with your fouling earlier on in the games than necessarily later.
Thank you.
Cheers, Craig.
Do you have anything, Chris Pike?
Actually, just quickly, John. It felt like the offensive rebounding was the biggest factor in that game, and just the way you're able to crash the glass, create those second opportunities, and end up winning the possession battle. How crucial do you think that was?
Look, that's what we talk about probably daily, is winning the possession game. And depending on the type of team in our roster, it's looked different previous years, where this year, our ability to offensive rebound when we have the right mentality is very good. So they tell on themselves, that should be the bar every time we step out on the floor.
Thank you.